baik tu dia jadi mereka tahu रेडियो फिजी बहुत रेडियो फिजी रोज सुनता हूँ
रेडियो फिजी 2 देश की धड़कन.
In the news tonight, domestic violence numbers increase during curfew. COVID-19 chaos set future for agricultural growth. And later in business, oil prices take a nosedive.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Jackie Smith.
Domestic violence cases has gone up another notch, with the police saying it has noted an increase in numbers after the nationwide curfew came into force. Commissioner of Police Brigadier General Sithi Veningilio says all perpetrators in the latest cases are males and the offences took place in domestic settings. The offences included assault and sexual offences, but the alarm bells are ringing with children not being spared during these tough times. Sanyani Mboilo reports.
96% of reported domestic violence cases since last month were related to assault, while the balance was for sexual offences. The police saying these are trying times for all, and people, particularly on the home front, need to cut out the bullish behaviour.
You need to control yourselves in this period that we are going through. And we've said it from the start. We will come out and investigate those and take people to task accordingly. Then again, it's about being responsible, being caring for each other, and being unselfish about things. But you've got to share that confined space with family and loved ones, and you need to control tempers and all that.
Indicators are that women are facing issues in the curfew period as they are unable to escape perpetrators. The Fiji Women Crisis Center is requesting police to intervene wherever possible to address these issues.
The curfew is also going to be a stumbling block, because the only time a woman now can run away is during the curfew time when he falls asleep. So we are alerting the police around that to do a quick referral if there is a woman caught out during curfew time. And
domestic violence cases against children recorded an overall decrease of 9%. 40% of the reported cases were related to sexual assault, while 60% was of physical assault. Sainiani Mboila, FBC News.
COVID-19 has caused widespread disruption to people's livelihoods, driven primarily by movement restrictions, and has resulted in food security scares in various countries. The Ministry of Agriculture says coronavirus has affected food supply as supply chains are facing issues and production being halted. Koroi Tandalala reports the ministry is introducing various programs to help Fijians cope with the current situation, but also secure the future.
The Ministry of Agriculture have put in place 5 different initiatives to help address food and nutritional security.
Over the last 6 weeks, the Ministry of Agriculture has strengthened its efforts to mobilize households and farmers to engage in productive agricultural activities, to raise production to enhance food and nutritional security for all who are dependent on them to provide a steady supply of fresh produce.
Go local and grow your own are some of the things that Dr. Mahendra Reddy's team is embarking on.
Cumulatively, this comprised of 129,024 individual packs of seeds of various commodities. The ministry will also provide every village with a set of 3x12 fruit tree seedling.
Permanent Secretary for the Ministry of Agriculture, Ritesh Das, says the ministry aims to use the current situation to educate Fijians about what may lie ahead.
As ever today, the potential for agriculture-led growth in Fiji is unlimited, and growth in livestock sector fits perfectly in the equation.
The minister says Fiji's strategic advantage lies in the primary sector, such as the agriculture industry. Dr. Reddy says the plan is to place agriculture as the leading economic sector for Fiji. Koroi Tandalala, FBC News.
The government has been in touch with Fijians stranded in India due to COVID-19. Health Minister Dr. Ifiremi Wangai-Nambete says given the global climate in relation to the coronavirus, Fiji's foreign ministry is keeping tabs on locals who are in India or other parts of the world. It is believed that over 100 Fijians are in different parts of India, either for medical purposes or for education.
We have been in contact with them in terms of our Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And certainly at the moment, as you're also aware, there are many things happening around the world, the lockdowns, the challenges, with travel. But I would just like to say that our Ministry of Foreign Affairs, what I do know is that they've been in contact with our embassy in India and with the individuals concerned.
19 juveniles were arrested overnight for the alleged breach of COVID-19 restrictions. Commissioner of Police Brigadier General Sipi Veningilio says a total of 37 people were arrested for alleged breaches of the curfew and social gatherings. He says the majority of the social gathering breach reports involving juveniles were of those playing rugby and sitting around in numbers in public places. Commissioner Ngilio is urging parents and guardians to ensure they are monitoring their children's activities at all times. The Southern Division recorded 32 cases, 27 were for social gathering breach and 5 for breach of curfew. Northern Division recorded 3 cases of curfew breach. The East recorded 1 case of curfew breach and 1 for social gathering breach. Meanwhile, both the Western and Central Divisions recorded nil arrests. Opposition Member of Parliament Pio Tikonduandua is still being questioned by police. Police Commissioner Brigadier General Sipi Veningilio confirms that Tikonduandua was arrested in relation to a video he posted on Facebook regarding the alleged assault of a Nangia village resident by police officers. Gilio says the alleged assault is under investigation, parallel to an internal investigation that they're also conducting. Police has confirmed that Tikonduandua was taken to the CID headquarters in Turak last night and is still being questioned. Gilio adds they will continue with questioning this morning before any decision on the laying of charges. There could still be a 24-hour lockdown in Fiji if people don't take the threat of COVID-19 seriously. Prime Minister Vorenge Bainimarama, in his latest national address, has renewed his warning that non-compliance with government directives could force his hand in making tough choices. Edwin Nund reports.
It's this sort of public behavior that has authorities worried. No physical distancing and unnecessary movement. Too many Fijians behaving like COVID-19 isn't a danger to them.
If people keep crowding in public places, gathering socially, or otherwise acting like these are normal times, there's no question we will lose lives.
The Prime Minister has warned that any decision on a 24-hour lockdown depends entirely on the public. The government won't go that way if it isn't forced to. He adds people need to realize their actions directly correlate to possible infections of the virus, risking everyone's lives.
Don't push the burden of recovery entirely on the shoulders of our doctors, our nurses and discipline forces. They deserve far better than anyone's apathy or ambivalence.
The government is urging the nation to understand that COVID-19 is tricky, hard to detect by average Fijians, and can lay dormant for up to 20 days. All these add to just how dangerous the coronavirus is. Edwin Nund, FBC News.
The Bangladeshi national accused of murdering his 2 roommates has been remanded in custody by the Bar Magistrates Court. Mohammed Masoom appeared before Magistrate Samuel Angita today, charged with 2 counts of murder. Masoom is alleged to have murdered his 2 roommates in Bar, who were also Bangladeshi nationals. The body of the first victim was discovered by police on Saturday. Yesterday, another body of a man also believed to be a former roommate of the accused was found. The case has been transferred to the Lautoka High Court with its next hearing on May 1st. Up ahead, Red Cross reaches out to cyclone-affected Fijians and cyclone-resistant homes for the future. Details after the break.
Radio Fijian nandop.
Part of funding from last year's fundraising events by the Fiji Red Cross Society will be channeled to help those affected by Tropical Cyclone Harold. FRCS Director Elisapedi Rokotunindao says they managed a profit of $12,000 from 5 campaigns. Sainani Boiler reports.
Money collected from can shaking, walkathons and movie nights, to name a few, has been paying for essential supplies for TC Harold victims.
That money is targeted for us to assist us to purchase our kits that we use to prepare ourselves for cyclones and for any disaster.
The Red Cross has been in all the badly affected communities and has distributed an initial run of supplies while also assessing damage. Disaster Management Coordinator Matthew Nokilebu says seeing people quickly get back on track with their lives is a new experience for them.
We came up with some processes in place, working side by side with the Ministry of Health and coming up with ideas on how we can draw up preventative measures or some precautionary measures around our assessment and distribution, and how we can work together with government in order to respond to TC Harold.
Fiji Red Cross currently has 121 volunteers on the ground assessing the damage in Kandawu, Lau, Botulele and parts of Tailebu. Sainiani Mboila, FBC News.
Climate change is expected to greatly increase the intensity of tropical cyclones in the future, raising a need to construct houses according to the building guidelines. The Housing Minister says that construction carried out in rural areas are exempted from Public Health Act 1935. Therefore, designs are not drawn up to withstand the current cyclones. Kritika Kumar reports.
A survey following Tropical Cyclone Winston in 2016 saw a guideline develop, something which pointed towards construction of substandard.
And we have seen that most of the houses that came down once the study was undertaken, it clearly showed that some of these houses really did not have proper strapping, did not have proper roof design and so forth. So that's why it came down.
The guideline is aimed at the informal sector and for those houses built in the rural and maritime areas.
In other words, a common man can pick up this guideline, see how the diagrams are, the drawings are, the pictures are. Using that information, they can build their home using village carpenters, using relatives, and yet they'll be able to come up with a home which is category 5 strength, resistant.
The minister is encouraging Fijians to use the guidelines for improving building safety and resilience of new single-story houses and schools in rural areas of Fiji. Kritika Kumar, FBC News.
Former Prime Minister Laisini Ngarase has passed away. Ngarase was admitted last week at the Oceania Private Hospital in Suva following a short illness and has passed away this morning. Ngarase served as the 6th Prime Minister of the country from 2000 to 2006. Hailing from Mavana in Laos, he also served with the Fiji Development Bank, the Fijian Affairs Board and the Merchant Bank of Fiji. The Fijian Broadcasting Corporation, in conjunction with Ramsamy and Sons, ran an Easter egg ornament competition last month that was drawn today. The competition was channeled by Bull FM, Gold FM and Mirchi FM and had more than 70 participants. Out of the 70, 10 creative winners were chosen from the 3 different stations and each won themselves cash prizes. The first winner received $200, second received $100 and the third received $50. All other participants received consolation prizes. A former Fiji resident has been shot dead by police in Auckland, New Zealand. The machete-wielding man was shot after several calls were made to police about his actions, which included trying to damage property. FBC News would like to apologise for footage it ran on Sunday in its story titled Police Arrests. The footage used in the story was of general in nature and in no way meant to depict that anyone in the footage were amongst those who were arrested. We do apologise to person or persons who were shown in the story and regret any inconvenience it may have caused. And we now join Whitney, who has all the latest from the business world.
Thanks, Jackie. In business tonight, international remittance on the decline. An FNPF payout suppresses 13 million. Stay with us.
My name is Neha and I'm from Karavi. And Mirchi FM, it's hot.
Mirchi FM, it's hot.
International travel restrictions and closure of businesses and industries worldwide has led to a collapse in the global travel and is expected to reduce remittance. Economist Dr. Rohit Kishore says the economic impacts of the COVID-19 are increasingly hitting tourism and remittance, which are the two important sources of employment and income. Kritika Kumar reports.
Dr. Rohit Kishore claims Fiji has taken a double blow with two major areas of revenue going through the worst time in history.
We have largely been dependent on tourism, tertiary sector, that it has been the largest foreign exchange earner for us. So that will be quite severely affected. And linked with it is our second largest earner, is the remittance.
Many families depend on money sent home by relatives overseas. And with this financial safety net now threatened, many Fijians fear the worst.
That our reliance on tourism and our reliance on remittance has to be reduced, and we have to diversify our economy.
Outgoing Minister for Trade and Tourism, Premila Kumar, speaking earlier, had highlighted the work of the government, adding the diversification is not easy.
The work of the government is to, of course, roll out the right policies so that we can attract businesses to come forward and start setting up businesses. So they're the ones who can diversify. They're the ones who can introduce new businesses into the market.
It is expected that the shock to the tourism industry and remittances will cause ripple effects in related industries. Kritika Kumar, FBC News.
About 18,400 Fiji National Provident Fund members have been paid $13.95 million as part of the COVID-19 assistance. A little over $2 million was subsidized by the government, and $11.90 million has been paid by the fund. There have been more than 46,791 to date, with 14,900 applications still to be processed and paid. FNPF Chief Executive Chochi, while the fund copes with this huge demand, they are pleading with members to be patient. Although the fund has a digital submission platform, a huge number of applications were received manually, including 7,700 applications from the Western Division. These applications have been prioritized as the forms were delayed due to the lockdown restrictions. Koroi adds the FNPF understands the urgency of dispersing members' funds due to the economic hardships. However, applications will go through the required checks. The fund has also encouraged members to apply now if they haven't, as they continue to assess when they have passed the peak submissions period for the scheme. Oil prices plunge into negative territory today as the global coronavirus pandemic keeps people at home and destroys demand for transportation fuel. The price of the U.S. benchmark crude to be delivered in May fell below zero, a historic low, as storage capacity reaches its limit. The means sellers are paying buyers to take the commodity off their hands. Because of the coronavirus and efforts to limit its spread, major cities around the world have been on lockdown. Flights have been sharply curtailed and millions of people are working from home, leading to far fewer commuters on the road.
We've had oil demand collapse. People are driving less. No one's flying anywhere. So we have a lot of extra oil supply that's simply not being used. And that oil has to go somewhere. So if it's not being used, it has to go into storage. But there is a limit to how much oil the world can store. And we're bumping up against the limits of storage capacity. And so today, we saw the price of oil go negative.
Shoran is up next with the expert views from the money markets.
Asian stocks retreated for a second day after an overnight slump on Wall Street as investors gauged the implication of a historic tumble in crude oil prices. Crude oil futures, which are expiring in May, at one point traded at a negative $34 a barrel. That means that those owning futures contracts were willing to pay others $34 per barrel to take those contracts off their hands. This rather seemed almost impossible at a first glance. Global equity markets slid and bond prices rose as traders dumped the expiring crude futures for May, leading the contract to plunge 306% to lows never seen before. This saw the US dollar edge higher as tumbling crude prices pressured the oil-linked currencies. The Aussie dollar held on to previous day's gains, while the Kiwi dollar was poised to extend gains as investors remain optimistic about the country's decision to ease some of its lockdown measures next week. And that's all from HFC Bank for now. Vinaka.
On a day that the world grapples with oil prices, let's see how our currency fared on the second day of the week. The Fiji dollar had a mixed day, gaining against the Australian dollar, Kina and the Japanese yen. Onto the commodities market, it was a decline all around. The price of crude oil was something which was unbelievable, closing at $1.54 per barrel. Gold gained to end at $1,686 per ounce, while silver was up by 14 to $15.29 per ounce. That's it from Business Tonight. It's back to Jackie now, who has the very latest in sports.
Coming up briefly in sports tonight, schools cricket bowled out by COVID-19 impact. And badminton also feels coronavirus pinch. This and more coming up.
Bola, I'm Miri, I'm from Lotoka and I love Gold FM because they play all my classic hits.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.
All Fiji football competitions will be deferred until the COVID-19 restrictions are eased. Given the uncertainty of the pandemic, Fiji FA Chief Executive Mohammed Yusuf says the association cannot decide on an actual date where competitions will resume. Yusuf adds decisions on the dates of competitions will only be made once the government gives the all clear.
Until such time, the government restrictions are uplifted. We'll need about 3 weeks to plan and then start up with the National League and reschedule our competitions and tournaments.
Cricket Fiji is unsure on whether the secondary schools elimination rounds will resume. Cricket Fiji Chief Executive Alex Kondrote says at the moment they are awaiting for a decision by the Ministry of Education. Kondrote adds if the secondary schools cricket cannot be resumed, they will focus on competitions at primary level.
We were on to our last week of before eliminations, but now that school won't start again till June, I think we will have to wait to see what the ministry says.
A number of local badminton tournaments have been postponed due to the current COVID-19 pandemic. Fiji badminton tournament organizer Andrea Whiteside says competitions scheduled for March to April have been postponed, with the new dates yet to be confirmed. Whiteside says these tournaments were vital as it served as build-up matches to the World Junior Championship in September.
It would have given at least the selectors for the junior champs some indication of how our juniors are progressing and which ones to keep an eye out for. So that's sort of the challenge now.
Fijian players who play for Australia's Super Rugby clubs will go through a major 60% pay cut for the next 6 months. These players include Rebels winger Marika Koroimbete, scrum half Frank Lomani, Brumbies outside Tevita Kurindrani, and Waratahs winger Mark Nawanganitawase. This as Rugby Australia has confirmed last night that Australia's players have accepted the 60% pay cut, which will end until September 30th. All players have been paid their full wages for this month, while next month's payments will be adjusted to match the accepted salary reductions. And coming up in the world of the weird and the wonderful, shopkeeper resorts to using teddy bears to help in social distancing. Details after the break.
Bola, I'm Miri, I'm from Lotoka and I love Gold FM because they play all my classic hits.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.
And it's weather time now with Angie.
Talofa and welcome to the Weather World. We couldn't have asked for better weather than what we're having right now. It's not too hot, not too cold, just in the middle and right. Put this weather to good use and exercise or do some fun farming. Trust me, you will love the results. Now looking to the west, bright conditions on this side of the country, little humid but full of great vibes. Eastwards from Pak Harbor to Suva, clear skies with rain clouds hovering. And up north, more overnight showers in the weather picture. That calls for a good night's sleep. At sea, southeast winds 15 to 20 knots, moderate to rough seas. Now turning to the tides, high tide will be at midnight with low tide at 6:13 a.m. Sunrise at 6:16. For tomorrow, showers will swing by to say hello and probably check on what we're up to in our sunny days. Tomorrow's temps, since the daytime is all sunny and shiny, the temps will rise up to 30s and drop by nightfall. And looking further on to Thursday, peaceful and very settled weather conditions are in the game. So enjoy your evening with all the lovely cakes and pies while I hand it back to Jackie.
Thanks so much for that, Angie. In Fijian Pulse tonight, with sports being absent for some time now, we asked Fijians if they are starting to miss out on seeing their favourite sports and sporting stars in action.
I miss sports because it helps us stay fit and healthy. I miss sports because it helps us relieve stress after a hectic day of work and school.
I'm a sports person. I play sports a lot and it helps me to stay fit, and I can't wait for the restriction to be lifted so I can start playing again.
I miss sports because it always brings a positive message.
Recapping the main stories for tonight, domestic violence numbers increase during curfew. COVID-19 chaos set future for agricultural growth, and former PM Laisini Angarase is no more. Now for these stories and others, tune in daily to our sister radio station Gold FM. Our poll question this week we're asking, should banks consider a loan repayment holiday for at least a year? Visit our FBC website to answer. And our shot of the day, the picture was taken at Naviti Island in the Yasawas by Fatima Sideka. And show us what you've been up to during the lockdown and movement restrictions. Email fbcnews@fbc.com.fj, via Facebook page FBC News, or our Twitter page at FBC_news. That's your news for tonight. Until tomorrow, good night.
Bula, I'm Miri, I'm from Lotoka, and I love Gold FM because they play all my classic hits.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.